A Harmony of the Gospels. For Students of the Life of Christ by A.T. Robertson. 766. Beyond the lake, Jesus heals the Gerasene Demoniac. Gerasa, same day. The long famous instance of discrepancy as to the place in this narrative has been cleared up in recent years by the decision of textual critics that the correct text in Luke is Gerasenes, as well as in Mark, and by Dr. Thompson's discovery of a ruin on the lakeshore named Gerasa, if this village was included, a very natural supposition, in the district belonging to the city of Gadars, some miles southeastward, then the locality could be described as either in the country of the Gadarenes or in the country of the Gerasenes. Matthew mentions two demoniacs. Mark and Luke describe one, who was probably the prominent and leading one. Mark chapter 5, verses 1 to 20. And they came to the other side of the sea, into the country of the Gerasenes, and when he was come out of the boat, straightway there met him out of the tombs a man with an unclean spirit. Well, some people in that position do engage in necromancy, so that could have been why, who had his dwelling in the tombs, and no man could any more bind him, no, not with a chain, because that he had been often bound with fetters and chains, and the chains had been rent asunder by him, and the fetters broken in pieces, and no man had strength to tame him. And always, night and day, in the tombs and in the mountains, he was crying out and cutting himself with stones, and when he saw Jesus from afar, he ran and worshipped him. And crying out with a loud voice, he saith, What have I to do with thee, Jesus, thou Son of the Most High God? I adjure thee by God, torment me not. For he said unto him, Come forth, thou unclean spirit, out of the man. And he asked him, What is thy name? And he saith unto him, My name is Legion, for we are many. And he besought him much that he would not send them away out of the country. Now there was there on the mountain side a great herd of swine feeding, and they besought him, saying, Send us into the swine, that we may enter into them. And he gave them leave, and the unclean spirits came out and entered into the swine, and the herd rushed down the steep end of the sea, in number about 2,000, and they were choked in the sea. And they that fed them fled and told it in the city and in the country. And they came to see what it was that had come to pass. And they come to Jesus, and behold him or the demoniac that was possessed with devils, sitting clothed and in his right mind, even he that had the legion, and they were afraid, and they saw it declared unto them how it befell him, the demoniac, that was possessed with devils. And concerning the swine, an animal that would have been taught not to eat. And they began to beseech him to depart from their borders. And as he was entering into the boat, he that had been possessed with devils, Greek demons, daimon. It's not just a psychological part in this context. So, besought him that he might be with him, and he suffered him not, but saith unto him, Go to thy house, unto thy friends, and tell them how great things the Lord hath done for thee. Now, could have been saying that, hey, don't just thank me, it's God, because anyways, and how he had mercy on thee. And he went his way and began to publish in the Decapolis how great things Jesus had done for him. And all men did marvel. Note and mark the numerous vivid details and the fullness of the narrative. Now, one of the things that we have, if we divide up the 5 sections of what they call the New Testament, is that each one kind of goes a different approach. And Matthew is like the lawgiver. Mark indicates more that Jesus went through difficulties. Luke, you could say, draws home more the point of the spiritual relationship. John, more about identity and acts and so on, about the continuance. But one of the things that we do generally find that Jesus made it about worshiping who he worshipped and not quite about his name. So he said, well, I may have been the vehicle, but Yahweh, Elohim, was the one who really decided this for you. Matthew 8:28-34, and when he was come to the other side into the country of the Gadareans, there met him 2 possessed, it's demoniacs, right? With devils, coming forth out of the tombs, exceedingly fierce, so that no man could pass by that way. And behold, they cried out, saying, What have we to do with thee, thou Son of God? Art thou come hither to torment us before the time? Now, that draws home an interesting point, is if they thought this, only the demon-possessed are going to be calling Jesus Son of God and meaning it in the Christian way, is what some people will interpret this as, right? Well, demoniacs, same thing. Because demon, you could say, is a choice in our more English way of things. Now there was afar off from them a herd of many swine feeding, and the devils, demons, besought him, saying, If thou cast us out, send us away into the herd of swine. And he said unto them, Go. And they came out and went into the swine, and behold, the whole herd rushed down the steep end of the sea, and perished in the waters. And they that fed them fled, and went away into the city, and told everything, and what was befallen to them that were possessed, demoniacs, with devils. And behold, all the city came out to meet Jesus. And when they saw him, they besought him that they would depart from the borders. And Luke 26-34, and they arrived at the country of the Gerasenes, which is over against Galilee. Many ancient authorities read Gerasene others Gadarenes. And when he was come forth upon the land, there met him a certain man out of the city, who had devils, Greek demons, and for a long time he had worn no clothes, and abode not in any house, but in the tombs. Well, doing forbidden things is one of the ways to get, the demons with a person, right? And when he saw Jesus, he cried out and fell down before him, and with a loud voice said, What have I to do with thee, Jesus, thou Son of the Most High God? I beseech thee, torment me not. And so you could say this was the first Christian, and then the idea is, time for an exorcism, because of what he was. For he commanded the unclean spirit to come out of the man. For oftentimes, or of a long time, it had seized him, and he was kept under guard and bound with chains and fetters, and breaking the bands asunder, he was driven of the devil, demons, into the deserts, and Jesus asked him, What is thy name? And he said, Legion, are many devils, demons, were entered into him. And they entreated him that he would not command them to depart into the abyss. Now there was there a herd of many swine feeding on the mountain, and they entreated him that he would give them leave to enter into them. And he gave them leave, and the devils, demons, came out from the man and entered into the swine, and the herd rushed down the steep into the lake and were choked. And when they that fed them saw what had come to pass. Another thing they make fun of the LDS for is saying come to pass so much in their scripture. They fled and told it in the city and in the country. And they went out to see what had come to pass. And they came to Jesus and found the man from whom the devils, demons, were gone out, sitting clothed and in his right mind at the feet of Jesus, and they were afraid. And they that saw it told them how he that was possessed with devils, demons, was made whole or saved. And all the people of the country of the Gerasenes, many ancient authorities read Gerasene, others Gadarenes, round about asked him to depart from them, for they were holden with great fear. And he entered into a boat and returned. But the man from whom the devils were gone out prayed him that he might be with him. But he sent him away, saying, Return to thy house, and declare how great things God hath done for thee. And he went his way, publishing throughout the whole city how great things Jesus had done for him. So we kind of do see that it would have been Yahweh that he said. And that could have been one of the problems that people had with Jesus, is that it was in respect of he didn't follow this thing where you don't use the divine name. He might have not replaced it by saying Adoni or Hashem or Mutzputz. Is that what people say?